My background actually spans 30 plus years in the financial services industry, primarily in being a trader, a portfolio manager, a product developer, and also with a hedge fund that had developed a very high-level algorithmic trading vehicle in the global macro space. From that, it became kind of an extension of the different responsibilities I've had over the years in the front office and the back office, and our prior focus as an independent sponsor in the private equity space was that of fintech space. We then had the opportunity in late 2019 to become involved in the Biotech Project. That wasn't our forte. We had a lot of learning to do, but it became very evident very immediately to me that this was an opportunity that we just had to take on ourselves. And here we are today. We're ready to enter into a global joint venture on a phase 3 basis, which is at the latter stage. Most technology biotech companies are very early in either their concept or phase 1 or phase 2, but we've been praised for our ability to get to the phase 3 and commercialization and distribution. The underlying asset of our pulmonary vascular disease vertical that we are developing is a first-in-class, safe, non-invasive nuclear medicine and molecular imaging diagnostic technology. Its primary design and functions are detection and monitoring. In other words, it's a proactive patient treatment care, not a reactive one, which most diagnostics are because the patient already has an illness. We, in our ability by being a preventive and first-line type of diagnostic, go into from infancy or the infant care all through adulthood, and we can monitor it, which gives not only the patient more comfort and confidence of what their actual health condition is, but it also gives the attending physician or healthcare facility a very accurate picture of what is going on internally with them. Because of the success of phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials, it showed that the efficacy was 5 times greater than the U.S. standard. The U.S. standard is known as a macro aggregated albumin, MAA. It has a limitation of 50 microns. Matter of fact, its range is 50 microns to 150. So with our efficacy being at 0.1 microns, it is the most advanced and most precise diagnostic in the global marketplace. And because of its preciseness, we have been characterized it to become the global standard on a worldwide basis. One of the interesting parts of our journey today is we were invited to be a showcase company at the Brussels Pharma Partnering Summit. That event was attended by executives from primarily the EU and others from around the world in the pharma, healthcare, and other industry participants. When presenting our technology, it really resonated with them. And I was approached by several CEOs of CROs and other types of companies asking, if your efficacy is at 0.1 microns, do you have the ability, the capacity, the versatility to expand into other diseases besides pulmonary diseases? And we do. And one of those questions came from the CEO of a company in India called Connexo Life Sciences. And their request was, can you create a derivative focused on TB? And the answer was yes. And we learned that not only can we create the TB derivative for India, because it has 25% of the world's prevalence when it comes to TB, and also because of the air pollution situation in India is more of an agitator when it comes to TB. We also learned that in Africa is number 2 when it comes to prevalence around the world. So we were asked to create the same scenario in Africa that will be supported by the World Health Organization and other NGOs. In India, our sponsorship for commercialization and distribution will be coming forth from an Indian agency known as the Biotechnology Research Assistance Council. And our phase 3 development will be accelerated so that it will actually occur within 21 to 25 months, which is way ahead of schedule from the normal industry of 36 months to 60 months. And it will give us sponsorship by supporting our development costs by up to 50% with no ceiling through the year 2030. And because of the adaptability we have, we can look at other diseases in the pulmonary disease category and related that we can then apply the technology. So over time, our pulmonary vascular platform will actually have 8 different commercializations in the future over the next 10 years. Because the product development cycle for us, our pipeline will consist of up to 7 different nuclear medicine, molecular imaging type diseases. And those are, the offsets for those are, besides the pulmonary, the hypertension and the embolism and the TB, we can go in and look at COPD, fistulomyces, sickle cell. So there's a number of different areas that we can begin to expand into, and we're not limited as long as we're staying within the pulmonary general category, because there are many diseases that are tangent to essential pulmonary disease impact. Well, the AI is a very intriguing and interesting situation for us, because we were actually approached by a data scientist that worked at our National Institutes of Health. And when he learned what we were doing with respect to not only building the pulmonary vascular vertical, he said, "What are you going to do with respect to the data that you collect?" And he said, "I would like to present an AI contribution to what you're going to be doing, both on a diagnostic basis for each types of treatment, but also what you can do on a global basis for other countries and other governments when it comes to their own insight as to what's going on for disease spread, the ability to migrate, and the ability to actually take a much clearer picture of what's going on in their populations to adjust their budgets and or focus for their resources." So we have what we consider the AI to be. One is a preventive, which is directly aligned to our own diagnostics, and secondly, a prognostic output. So we have an internal one for ourselves that we will be passing on the information and sharing it around the world. And then on the global one, we will actually be putting it forth to governments so they can begin to examine their own global, expenses or budgets when it comes to focused on diseases, so they can be more precise, and not only in their dedication of their capital, but also looking at how disease mitigation can occur from our own data. Our primary contribution is going to be the preciseness by which our diagnostic is a patient treatment. And I just have to reflect for a moment, going back to what the U.S. standard is, known as the macro aggregated albumin. It has a limitation of 50 microns. And to give you an offset of that, in the U.S. alone, there are 40,000 to 80,000 deaths based upon misdiagnosis or wrong diagnosis. Matter of fact, in the economy, is projected at right now around $750 billion of unnecessary expenses, both national basis, and when you incur that, of course, this individual patient care and what this costing them for insurance companies and out of pocket. So the error in the misdiagnosis is tremendous. And what we see ourselves as doing is refining that to be more precise, to give not only healthcare institutions, governments, and agencies a better look at what is actually going on, instead of, and I won't say it's guesswork because doctors are very educated and credentialed, but it gives them a very precise and more accurate accounting of what's actually happening in their populations. Marquee Equity has been one of the most pleasant surprises that I've had in the investment banking area in a long time. I can say this unabashedly, attention and dedication that we have received for our project has been outstanding. It's almost as we have an extra team member or extra team members being a part of our culture. Not only is that very comforting and satisfying to us as far as productivity, but Marquee has shown an attention to detail and responsiveness that we have not seen previously. And I have to commend the entire team and all those that we have worked with thus far to advance what we believe is one of the most critical junctions in diagnostic technology that's going to be going on in the world for the next decade, and that Marquee can be a part of that story.